we're faced with choices. And these choices can range from trivial decisions like which shoes to wear or which CD to put into the player, to very serious decisions that will impact the rest of our lives. Let's talk about that. The words, "you're pregnant," pack an emotional wallop. If you're married, those words can be among the most joyful you'll ever hear. But if you're unmarried, they can be earth-shattering. Facing an unplanned pregnancy is hard. In our society, you have choices about your pregnancy. We're going to take a look at those choices. You may be under pressure from someone else to make a certain decision, but you need to know that no one will be required to live with the consequences of this decision as much as you will. Before you decide, you deserve to know all the facts and to be fully informed about this important decision. Dr. Yvonne Moore is an obstetrician-gynecologist with over 20 years of experience in helping women through pregnancy and childbirth. She currently practices medicine at a women's hospital in Memphis, Tennessee.
It's way down there. Amazing advances in science have given us an intriguing look at what goes on inside you as a precious little life forms and develops in your womb. The creation of a human being is an awesome and amazing thing.
Even at this stage of development, the baby's heart has already been beating for a whole month. Here, the baby is well along on developing delicate little features. And here, at only about halfway along in the process, you can see the baby's eyebrows and lashes. Leslie Zurita is in her 28th week of pregnancy, and she's about to have her first look at the baby that's growing inside of her. Through a device called 4D ultrasound, Leslie can see a live image of her child. So what are your options? What choices do you have? There is no easy answer. Any choice you make will involve some level of pain or inconvenience. Some women in your situation choose to abort their baby.
I went with my mother and my best friend, and I took my teddy bear. You'd be surprised how many women take teddy bears to abortion clinics.
You need to know that abortion is not just a simple medical procedure. I personally am acutely aware of that fact. There was a time in my own career when I performed abortions, thinking I was helping women. But I later realized that abortion isn't just removing a blob of tissue from the womb. Abortion actually takes the life of a child.
For many women, it's a life-changing event with significant physical, emotional, and spiritual consequences.
I had this picture in my mind that the baby was still an egg, basically. But that's not at all what happened by the time I went at 6 weeks. Past my period, the baby was a lot bigger and more developed.
Most women who struggle with past abortions say that they wish they had been told all the facts beforehand.
Like the fact that there are significant medical risks associated with abortion. About 1 out of every 100 abortions done in the early stages of pregnancy results in complications, and about 1 out of 50 in the later stages has complications as well. Other serious downsides of abortion include at least a 50% increased risk of breast cancer for some women, an increased risk of miscarriages, and the potential for a condition known as post-abortion stress syndrome. PASS can occur just days and sometimes as late as several years after an abortion.
Nicole Cooley battled with deep depression for months after her abortion.
For the longest time, his face with this patronizing smile on it haunted me as he waited for the general anesthesia to knock me out. And the nurse told me it's all going to be over. But it wasn't going to all be over, because this was the beginning of the real nightmare for me.
It's a psychological response that manifests itself as strong negative emotions.
For me, getting over the abortion was the hardest part, because I did that to myself. I didn't bring the rape on myself. It was easier to forgive the rapist than it was to forgive me. The births of my children have been so wonderful that I've had with my husband, my 3 boys. But they don't replace the one that I've lost. And they can't.
And then there's the spiritual impact of abortion to consider. What does God want you to do in this situation? How does God see your unborn child? These are important questions to think about. Abortion has some significant risks to consider, as we've seen, but your next option is something much less risky.
Is that your dad?
Renee Foster chose parenthood at age 18.
This is Lucas. He is 9 months and he is a doll. He's wonderful and he's brought so much happiness to our family, and it's really been an experience learning how to raise him.
Carmen Morales and her husband Judah were high school teens when they found out Carmen was pregnant with Judah's child. But despite the family members' pressure and an offer to pay for an abortion, they decided to go through with the pregnancy.
I was about 6 months pregnant, and we decided to go in to see the baby on the ultrasound. And I was really sick. I had a lot of pregnancy-related problems, and we found out it was a boy.
Okay. And I've loved kids my whole life, and the baby's dad was so happy that it was a boy. He started to cry, and we looked at each other, and at that point we knew that abortion or adoption or anything wasn't going to be the case. We had to keep him.
Becoming a mother is the most natural of your options. Billions of women have gone through the physical experience of childbirth, and your body was created specifically to handle it. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it is natural. And while there are some risks, childbirth is much safer than it was even 20 years ago, and certainly much safer than an abortion. In fact, a recent study showed that women who have an abortion are 4 times more likely to die in the following year than women who give birth.
Every day I look at my son and just think, what would I do without him? What would I have done if I took that life away and didn't have a chance to look at him smile and look at him laugh and play? And I'm really glad I made this decision.
His father and I both know now that it was the best decision we made. We wouldn't be in the places that we're at right now. He has made us grow up, but grow up in a way that we needed to have happen anyway. He's an amazing little boy. He's so loving, caring. He's a joy to be around always.
Raising a child is filled with both blessings and challenges. Your child will require a lot of care, all the way to adulthood. If you choose parenthood, it's your responsibility to see it all the way through, with or without help. But it's worth it all.
There are many single parents and grandparents doing amazing things for the sake of their baby and doing so successfully. In fact, I was raised by a single grandparent.
But if the thought of raising a child alone is overwhelming, there is a third option. I know that adoption probably wasn't the first thought to enter your mind, but you really should give it some consideration. Lisa Peterson made the choice to place her daughter for adoption. She was able to select a loving couple, Tripp and Chris Baltz, who were unable to conceive a child. Through what's called an open adoption, Lisa has been able to visit Lily quite often and maintains a close relationship with her.
I thought about adoption throughout my pregnancy, and as the time came closer to the hospital, I realized more and more that this really was the best decision. I really wanted what was best for my baby, and I felt like that best possible scenario was with a family that was ready to parent, and with a family that could give my child all of the things that I didn't feel like I could provide.
Adoption is a choice both you and your baby can live with. It allows your child to be raised by both a mother and a father. If having a mom is good, having a mom and a dad in your child's life is even better.
And it's incredibly hard to see her grow up and know that I don't get to do all of the things that a mom should get to do. But at the same time, it's really exciting to see her grow. It's really exciting to see how much she is loved and how healthy she is and how smart she is.
Adoption isn't easy for a young mother. It takes maturity, great love for your baby, and a lot of unselfishness.
And I was shocked to find out that birth moms have a lot of rights. Birth moms get to choose a family. I got to meet the family before deciding that they were the right family for my baby. Knowing that my daughter is in a loving home means so much to me, because I really feel good about my decision. I feel good about the home that she's in, and I know that she's right where she's meant to be. One thing that's neat about adoption is that you can continue previous goals you had for yourself. You know, you can finish school and you don't have to have an abortion to finish school.
Adoption is truly an act of heroism, an act of selfless love. We've talked about the 3 options you have for an unplanned pregnancy. We learned that abortion carries significant risks. It may cause intense emotional and physical problems for years to come, as well as consequences that can last a lifetime. We saw that parenthood is at the same time challenging and rewarding. And we found that adoption is both heroic and selfless. None of these issues is easy to deal with. But that's why you're here. You've come for answers and help, and this center's counselors are ready to help you through this. You are not alone.
Take time. I know when I was going through everything, I felt like I was in such a hurry that I had to make a decision right away, and I had to do something right away, and that my life had stopped, and it wouldn't start again until I had an abortion. Give yourself the gift of time to really think this through and let your heart speak to you.
It's way down there. Way down. Well, let me see your baby. Oh, look at that hair. Look at her. Let me see her. Come here, sweet pea. Oh, look at you. You're a movie star. Anna Grace? All right. That's beautiful. Amy Grace. Oh, look. Is she beautiful? Okay. It's okay. She's really cute.